Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest episode number 74. It is the lead up to the most cyberist, punkish week of them all.
Cyber Monday, you got them deals?
Cyber Monday deals, right? Coming in hot. Yeah, was there anything that you guys... We were talking about cyber, or, you know, Black Friday, and then Cyber Week was this week, or last week. You guys get anything for that?
No.
I got the Ava Media capture card from
nice. The 4K internal?
So, yes. I'm excited for that to come and try that out.
I have that and I like it quite a bit. Like it just works for everything kind of flawlessly. The only thing it doesn't have is that rewind feature that Elgato has that I love so much.
Well, okay, good news for you, Briar, is that my rewind feature crashes every time I use it. So I essentially don't have one.
You won't be missing that then.
Yeah. I've been on the verge of buying one of those Evermedias for like ever since they came out. Like just because also the price is really good too, right? Like $250 or something for one of those.
Yeah, about that
at all. Yeah.
And I think they sell a dual version too with like 2 inputs, so you can record.
They do.
What?
Which is really nice. Yeah.
2 4K inputs?
Yeah, they started selling that after I bought mine. I would have definitely bought that though.
Which one is this? I thought they just had a pass through. I need to buy this right now.
But the reason I initially bought it is because I had heard that using the OSSC, which is an upscaler for like old video games, it was very compatible with that, which all capture cards are not, because you know obviously the resolutions are really weird with that. Right. So I bought it because it was compatible with that, and then you know obviously the PS5 and the Xbox Series X came out, so I started using the 4K. It does HDR and it also tone maps, so you can play in HDR.
Nice. But
your footage is tone mapped to standard dynamic range, which is really convenient, you know, because you could stream in standard. Because you can't stream or put footage on YouTube in HDR. You can put footage in HDR, but nobody can see it.
Right.
It just looks like washed out.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to be able to play in HDR, but record the footage in standard dynamic range. It's a really nice capture card.
That's great.
Yeah, it's also like anytime I see threads of people being like, guys, I need to upgrade. What should I do? The Evermedia one is always mentioned. Yeah, I think there's like this thing of Elgato, and they've done really good at pushing their brand as being like the thing to get for especially startup streams if you're just starting to get into it. But currently, the Evermedia is actually cheaper than the Elgato capture card. Well, so I was like,
yeah, when Evermedia came out, I think they basically forced Elgato's hand to lower the price. I mean, I think when their 4K capture card came out, it was initially like $400 or something, and then Evermedia was like, "Get dunked on, nerd," and they were like, "Okay, we better lower our price." Okay.
The Elgatos used to be like kind of the de facto, right? Like back in the day, if you wanted a capture card, it was Elgato or like some weird thing that. Yeah, exactly.
So this was back in like the VGA or
many cables, the many cables days.
Right.
Yeah,
this wasn't HDMI
the PS3 that you had it component. You know, but yeah, so a lot of people just kind of got used to using Elgatos, and they had that rewind feature that is so convenient. You can be playing a game, do something awesome, decide you want to record it, and like go backward to rewind it on your computer, which is an awesome feature. It must be patented because nobody else has it.
Yeah. So like I said, for a while, basically Elgato was just the card that you got, you know? Yeah. And then times have definitely changed. That's for sure.
Yeah. Like a lot of people started using those Mage Wells. I think you have a couple of them, right, Tefty?
I do.
The problem with those is they're ultra expensive.
Yep.
They're like the professional grade capture card, right? Like that's like you're producing videos and you have the Mage Well.
Well, the main reason why I ended up getting the Mage Well, this was back in 2016, was I had the internal Elgato capture card and it kept on getting desynced or causing some weird crash that would happen. Like, and it wouldn't be the first 30 minutes or an hour.
Nope.
It would be, you'd be 3 or 4 hours into a stream, you know?
Yep.
And back then, like your concurrent was very important, you know? So you didn't want to have your stream suddenly crash and then, you know, have to rebuild or whatever. So it was very important not to have to like reset things. And that's why I ended up getting the Mage Wells. And yeah, they are expensive. The ones I got, it was $600 for each card. I ended up getting 2 of them. And now, if you want the 4K ones, which I have not gotten because they are way too expensive, like the 4K 60, I think is like $1,800.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Woo!
Spicy.
That's hot. You could buy like 3 Aeron chairs for that. 3 Herman Millers.
Yeah. Well, maybe one?
Well, if you want 2.
Maybe one.
Yeah. So they're expensive, but they never crash. I've never had a single issue with Magewell. And it takes
and seems to be that middle ground, right? Where it's like they seem really consistent and they're not super expensive. I guess the one drawback would be that it doesn't fit into your like Elgato ecosystem if you have the light and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But
that stuff worries me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They do all these fancy features and then like half the time they break and you're like, no.
Honestly, the best thing that Elgato makes is the Stream Deck.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
Stream Deck is great.
Yep.
Yeah,
like their green screen is actually pretty good too because it rolls up like a film screen, which is really cool. But I don't use a green screen much anymore, just because I got sick of having it in the middle of my room all the time.
Yeah, I got sick of not being able to buy green clothes. Legit. I was like, I'd be shopping. I'd be like, it's green. I can't wear it. Damn
it. So now you just get to see the filth of my office.
Yeah.
Instead.
Yeah, that's why I don't.
If you go back long enough in the DCP history, you'll see all of us just had green backgrounds all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was
except for Pope Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was the thing, and then it started shifting somewhat recently, actually, where more people started getting rid of the green screen.
Yeah, past couple of years or so. Yeah.
The other thing about having a green screen is you have to have lights, and those lights must be approximately the power of three suns.
Mm-hmm. That was my other problem with it. I always had to have a bunch of lights on, and at the time I probably just needed glasses, but like it always felt like my eyes were burning from the experience. So I was like, I got to get rid of the green screen, man.
Yeah. You feel like you're getting a suntan sitting here. But you're not. You're still pale.
And now you can see that you're pale. Even better.
Yeah. Perfect.
It's great.
Speaking of a pale horse.
Yes.
Demon Souls. Everybody's been playing Demon Souls this week. We kind of coordinated like a playthrough. How do we even begin to talk about this game? You guys both finished it. I didn't finish it. I only got up to the third boss. I got distracted by another game that I want to talk about later.
Third boss. What's third boss for you?
Third boss. So I beat the Vanguard. I beat the Tower Knight. I beat the Armor Spider, and I did beat the Red Dragon, the guy who flies and kills all the people on the bridge.
Oh.
I didn't do that.
But that's it. I am now currently getting my ass kicked by Mind Flayers.
Okay.
Mind Flayers.
Yeah, the guys with the squid mouth.
Yes.
They shoot like a bolt at you.
Yeah.
Stun you and then come and suck your face off.
I still do not understand their AoE. I don't get it. I just start rolling frantically or I run away and I'm like, great, it didn't hit me. I don't understand the AoE at all. The beam thing, really, I get that. I understand. But the AoE, I'm just like, I don't know. It hit a pot and then it hit me.
I started using the sneak ring so I could sneak up on them.
Oh, yeah.
And kill them before they know I'm there.
Dude, that sneak ring is so clutch. My God.
Yeah.
I played the majority of the game without it.
Well, there's a way that we could talk about our favorite bosses by using numbers. That's like the least spoilery way for Briar.
Well, I don't care about spoilers much.
Oh, you don't care? Okay.
But I don't know how much people who are going to listen to the show. But should we explain the game a little bit? This is obviously a remake of the original PS3 game by the same title. It's been completely redone.
Yes.
Basically from the ground up. I guess Bluepoint did an interview with Digital Foundry, and they said that there is some code in there from the original game based on like how the character moves, like the timing of attacks and stuff like that. But I mean, graphically, it's a complete rebuild. It runs at 60 FPS, 4K 60 FPS.
Yep.
I think it looks stunning. It plays like a Souls game for sure. Like, and an early one, I would say.
It is. It's beautiful. It's so hard to explain how beautiful it is, because when you look at the streams and stuff, you can't tell how gorgeous it is. It's all of the like fine, minute details that really pushes it to feeling next gen. Because you look at a game like Ghost of Tsushima, and it's very easy to see how gorgeous it is. But when you get up close and you can see like the foliage, it's not as crisp. But this you can get up close on everything, and it's just crystal clear.
Yeah, like you walk up to a rock wall and you can see the dimples in the rock. You can see the water running down the rock wall. Yep. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, a lot of times with like last gen and then PC releases, you'd have they'd make, it feels like anyways, that they'd make a compromise on the texture map resolution so that they could ship the game and not have to do two completely different versions of the assets. I feel like it's the first time seeing something in truly next gen to where, like you said, you could walk up to the wall and have pretty high fidelity, like almost to the point where you're basically just looking at the texture map right there.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic to finally see happening in modern day video games where like the texture maps are not the problem anymore. It's like the visual fidelity across the board is upgraded. And now that's going to start happening for future games, which is so cool. Like, I can't wait to see that.
Very exciting.
Like, Dark Souls 3 was a great looking game. But on PC, you could tell that, at least if I remember correctly, you could tell that like when you get closer to some of those texture maps, you could see that they were definitely last gen friendly, to those points. Yeah. And it just makes the problem with this remake is it makes me want to see Dark Souls 1, 3, and Bloodborne all remastered to this degree.
Yeah, totally.
I know.
Bloodborne especially. Because Bloodborne it's like it's hard to go back to Bloodborne.
Because it's the only one right now that you can't play in 60 FPS.
Yeah,
you can play Dark
or
Souls
30.
1, 2, 3, or 30. 1, 2, 3, Sekiro. You can play everything in 60 FPS. Bloodborne is the only one.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
It's not just like the graphics, like the design of them. It's like the animation too. It's like I was so impressed when that first boss in the tutorial.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Tutorial in quotes. The one, when I like my first reaction was to just try and roll and get behind him and start smacking him in the ass with my sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when I did that, I noticed that he has like these kind of fat flaps.
Yeah.
And the flaps were like jiggling when I was hitting them. I started laughing and then immediately died, which I still haven't beaten that guy. I really want to beat that dude because you get some really cool stuff and like you get to see some cool stuff if you do it.
That's cool.
But man, I was so surprised. And then the Tower Knight that's the boss that you see in like every trailer they've put out for this game. He's just a huge knight with this enormous shield and he smashes the shield on the ground. And because you're so close to him for most of the fight, all you really get to see is like his waist down. But if you get far away from him and you watch him like walk around and like kind of shoot his fireballs at you, he's super well animated and it's so smooth at 60 FPS.
Yeah.
Like it really looks super good. Like your attacks all look well animated and the timing feels better than in previous games because it's running at a smooth 60. Like, input latency is reduced. The attack windows feel more, frankly, generous because, there's kind of like a tighter.
You have more information as well.
Yeah, twice the amount of information available to you to respond.
Even when I talk to like the people in the Nexus for the first time and seeing their facial animations, I was like, wow, they feel so real. Not in the Uncanny Valley way where it's like, is this a real person? In a real animated way. Yeah. I was really impressed with that, especially the girl that's in the Nexus, the like blonde hair girl. Her face is really well animated. That was fun.
Yeah, the animations are spot on this. They've the sound effects, the music, and all that. Like apparently they redid it. I don't know if they redid 100% of it.
Everything.
Oh, was it 100%? Oh, yeah. Like
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's extremely impressive. The game feels incredible, and I don't have a reference point of how it was 10 years ago when it first came out because I didn't play it then. But I can imagine it's quite the jump.
It feels so good to have this version available because this was the beginning of so many things happening in the gaming industry. Not only was it the beginning of Souls as this genre from FromSoft, but it's also kind of changed just the way the industry is in general. Like so many people have taken inspiration from Souls games, and this was really where it all started. So it felt really awesome to be able to experience that this was the beginning. And although it's got this really nice polished stuff that's happened to it, it's still the same game. You're still experiencing all of it, and it's actually kind of impressive how well it holds up in modern times.
Yeah,
because
it feels like a modern Souls game, right?
It does. Like the bosses aren't as complicated. They've definitely gotten more complicated as time goes on, but it still holds up in modern gaming.
Yeah, while I was playing it, I was saying that the difficulty in Demon Souls definitely feels like the levels. It's more weighted towards the levels, and also the fact that you don't have individual bonfires or checkpoints to be able to go back to these things. Like there's a couple bosses that are a real pain in the ass to have to run back to have to try again, because there's just a series of enemies that you can't, like, I mean, maybe you can run past them. I couldn't, but I had to take care of all those enemies every single time in order to go back to this boss. And having played the majority of the Souls games, I haven't played Dark Souls 2, so I don't have those references, but everything else, there's definitely harder bosses in future titles or the other titles. Like they increased difficulty of bosses as they got better at making these games. But you can see the shreds of things in all the games, from Bloodborne to Demon Souls or Dark Souls 3 and all that. It's really cool.
Those checkpoints were so unfriendly. Like some of them were like so far away from where you actually wanted to be, like so far. And like it you know, this game does punish you in pretty severe ways. Like if you die and you need to go get your souls back, but you happen to die and you used up all your healing herbs, your grasses, like you can be really fucking stuck, because like maybe there's a bunch of enemies that you're gonna have trouble dealing with to get there. But if you don't have any grasses to heal yourself on the way, and you don't happen to get a drop, then you might just be screwed. You might just die on the way to getting your souls back, which then sets you back because you can't buy any grasses. So it puts you in a loop where, oh shit, well now I've just got to grind to build souls and grasses back up so that I can take another run at this boss. Which, you know, it's not like other games where you die to a boss, you just reload and you take another run at that boss. No, you die at a boss in this game. It very well could happen that it's going to be a couple hours before you get to take another shot.
Yeah, it's if people don't know, this is before you had your refillable flask every time you go to like your home point, because there's no bonfires. This is pre bonfires, so you have to actually grind for your heals. You have to be like, oh well, gotta go do like a 15-minute farm to go get me some heals because I have none.
I had to do that multiple times.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. Like if you don't, if you're playing it completely blind and you don't know where you could farm for souls, then yes, that can be extremely frustrating. There was a few times I was like, oh my God, now I have to go spend all this extra time just to get over the place. I'm pissed.
There's some bosses that are so far away from the Archstone that I don't even know how to get back. I'm like, I don't know. Where did I go? I have no idea.
The level design is incredible like that. Like the levels are so detailed, and there's so many shortcuts, and there's so many side ways you can go, and you're always rewarded by going and looking around. Every time I went off the beaten path to look around a little bit, I always felt super rewarded. I always felt like it was a battle. Like oftentimes there was like a red-faced knight sitting there waiting for me, like, you want this? You see it? It's right there. You have to fight me for it. You know, like.
Oh, that just reminded me. I never opened up that door. I don't know if you can open that door. I don't know. I never tried afterwards, after getting all the way through.
And then there's this whole level of what is it called, where you can turn the world from light to dark?
The tendency.
Oh, world tendency.
The tendency. Yeah, the world tendency, which is, I don't think it's anything that's ever explained in the game. They show you an icon for it.
Yeah.
But I did a little research on it, and you know, once you have the world tendency maxed out to all the way light, new quests open up, new characters open up. You can do brand new stuff in the game that you never would know about unless you like. I mean, I googled it because I wanted to know what this was all about. But then if you let it go all the way to black, there's more items in the game, so you can, both are good in different ways.
Yeah, it's a thing where I was like, wow, there's so many side quests and items and weapons hidden behind having pure white or pure black tendency. And when I finished Demon Souls, the first area for me was pure white, and there's like a right as you go into the world, there's something to the left, like some stairs that you can now go down, and you can go there, and there's a whole new armor set, which is like the best light armor set in the game. And then there's the areas that you go to, and there's like the dragons just aren't there, so now you can go loot all of the areas where the dragons were hanging out because they're just not there right now.
I just killed the red one and snuck up behind the blue one. Took all that shit anyway.
I can't believe you killed them all.
Yeah, I didn't even
fuck that dude.
Briar the Dragon Slayer.
It only took about 160 arrows.
It reminds me of hitting, I don't know, in Dark Souls, you can hit the tail of the red dragon and you can get a sword from doing that. I feel like the experience would be somewhat similar to that, where you're just like, hold on, you're good, one shot. 5 hours later.
How many hours did it take you guys to finish it?
I think I clocked in just under 30 hours.
Okay.
I think it was about 27 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only put about 10 hours in, but
Fran is
really
at like 40 something hours.
He is?
Fran is?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Who is? I'm sorry.
Fran.
Fran. Okay.
Yeah, Fran.
That doesn't surprise me.
40 hours in.
He's in that menu optimizing his loadout
it's true. It's true. And then he goes to do like damage tests and everything. So he's in there for a while.
My suspicion is I'll be well over 30 as well, because I'm not nearly as experienced in these games as you guys are. I was actually playing along. Watts, you were your first day. I was playing along. That was kind of my first day too, is I built a new character when you built a new character. And by the time I beat the Vanguard, you were already fighting the Tower Knight. Like, that's how much faster you were going through the game than I was. And I wasn't dying.
I went too fast. I feel like I was like, maybe I should have on my first playthrough got pure white tendency somewhere or pure black tendency and gone and done some of those quests. Because there's one where you can get like a dagger. It's a parrying dagger. So instead of having a shield, you have a dagger to parry with, and it has a much larger parry window. And I was like, that sounds fun.
So they do have a Cestus glove in there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, but it's hidden behind having the white tendency in the prison area and getting the blue dude free.
Okay.
Yeah, blue dude.
There is some inscrutable stuff in this game. Like it to me, like you almost have to have Google open while you're playing this game. Like why can I not like use this dagger? There's nothing, like, numbers wise, I can't figure out anything that's telling me in this game why I can't use this dagger. All it says is you're not powerful enough to use it. Like, why not? Like, what specifically do I have to do to become powerful enough? And then, like, separately, but you're not strong enough to use this sword. Well, what's the difference between power and strength? There's a stat for strength. There's no stat for power. So what do I got to do? Like, all that stuff. I'm just constantly Googling stuff in this game. Like, you know, I try not to watch or Google like boss fights because they're super fun to figure out. Mm-hmm. But when I run into like the really obscure stuff, like what does this item do? Like, you know, here's a pro tip: is don't actually eat the souls that you get from bosses because you need those later.
Did you consume all those souls?
I did consume the Vanguard soul because like I'm like, hell, I need a boost. Like, let's get some let's level up.
Dark Souls games have kind of always been like that, right? Yeah. Like there's going to be a lot of things that you probably don't find just by playing normally.
This feels more like that though.
Yeah, there is probably like a half of a game hidden behind like.
I feel like they've pulled back a little bit. Like, hey, maybe Google isn't the place that you should be figuring out all this stuff. Maybe we should somewhat let you figure it out on your own.
Yeah, they definitely.
But it like Jesus.
No, there's a ton of mystery to the game. I think that was probably part of its lure as well. Is like, oh, you could do this. Wow, if you do this and this, and then suddenly you get this thing. Yeah. This is crazy. And I'm sure there wasn't as much information out in 2009 Not as many people like suddenly shoveling as much information about the game on the internet as fast as possible. Although maybe there was.
Yeah, imagine being like in the first wave of players to this game back 10 years ago. Like it must have been a really fantastic experience because everybody's trying to figure out all this stuff. Like the forum or the Reddit or whatever people were on at the time must have been just like lit all the time.
Yeah.
With oh my God, I just found this. I just found out how to, whoa.
So that kind of happened with the Demon Souls remake, because there was a door that people were like, is it possible that I can open this door? And there's been kind of this community effort to figure out how to open it. And they finally figured out how to open it. It's like 10,000 steps to be able to open this door. So I can't remember all of them, but it's it ends up giving you an armor set that people really wanted in the original. And that's how you get it. So it's Souls games are definitely like that. And on stream, I talked about it a little bit, where when Demon Souls first came out, it was kind of the first of its kind. There were things that were similar before, but this was the first one that really kind of took off. And reviewers, there were some that really liked it, but a lot of them were just like, yeah, no, I don't get it. I don't really understand it. Because if you just play from A to B, you're just kind of like, oh, okay, well, it was cool. I had fun, but there's not much there. Yeah. And then there were these two super hardcore Japanese players who were just playing over and over again and messing around with stuff. And they figured out all of these hidden things that you could get, the hidden weapons, the hidden quests, and that kind of revitalized people going back into Demon Souls.
Yeah, one thing that's extremely unclear is the weapon upgrade system. Like, if you just play it, you would not know that you can upgrade or get like boss weapons and stuff. And chat was definitely helpful in me getting boss weapons. There's like this cleaver that I got that has S tier scaling with strength, and it just is ridiculous and destroys stuff. But I wouldn't have known about how to get it. I think I had to get a club, and then you have to go to the special blacksmith, not the. I don't know. Have you met the special blacksmith, Briar?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's at the bottom of that elevator.
Yeah, you have to go to him. You have to bring him the club, and after you give him a certain soul that he then, I guess, invigorates. He gets the Baja Blast experience of wanting to make better weapons. And then you can make this boss weapon from him. And that would be very difficult to stumble into.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you'd have to do multiple playthroughs and be like, okay, well, what if I do this? Okay, let's go for this thing. What if I try this? And there's like some weapons where if you upgrade them too far, you can no longer upgrade to this specific version. So I think the compound bow is like that, actually, where if you go too far on the upgrade path, you can't make the sticky compound bow. So I was like, you wouldn't know that unless you play this game a lot.
There's no tree. There's no like Monster Hunter World like tablet of knowledge that says this is how you get this weapon and go with this upgrade. So you have to discover this item or something. Like none of that. The game's
it's all about
The game's like maybe
it for yourself.
Yeah.
This game
like yeah.
I actually bounced off of this game a couple of times while I was playing it too, because like I was just like I got infuriated by it. I was just like, come on, like how do you expect me to like I now have to grind for an hour or whatever to get enough grass to get back to this boss, because the boss beat my ass because I didn't know it was going to fall backward. You know, like, there's no way I can roll out of there. You know, like, and then it's like, so anyhow, I bounced off of this game a couple of times. I keep coming back to it, but I bounced to a game that I'm also fucking loving. And it's got to be the exact opposite of this game, the new Call of Duty. Have you guys checked out the new Call of Duty yet?
Nope.
I played the beta and I hated it, so I never played it.
All right, so I haven't played any of the multiplayer. I've only been playing the campaign, and it is unbelievably stupid and fun. It is like, it is an 80s action movie. Like, just every scene is like a highlight from an 80s action movie. Like, there's a scene where you go to Russia and you find one of those like fake American towns that they use for training. You know, like, so you're now fighting through a fake American town in Russia. There's another one where you're in Vietnam and you're the chopper gunner, and then you're getting out and you're doing that kind of stuff. You can actually fly the chopper. There's another one where you're a spy in East Berlin in the 80s in the Cold War. Like, every kind of set piece is like another like kind of action scene straight out of the 80s. And it's so fun and it's so stupid and it's changing up so frequently. And this is the opposite of Demon Souls, right? You're not going to die here.
Right.
You know, I put it on normal and you just like will run through. There's big explosions. There's lots of gunshots. The DualSense, I'm playing on the PlayStation 5 controller. The DualSense controller is so good at kind of like mimicking gunfire, which I meant to mention in Demon Souls. The first time I hit a spear against a rock, the vibration it made, it was like a ding. It felt like it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I am loving this game. It is dumb fun action like only Call of Duty has done recently. Like it is
nice.
I don't usually like the campaign of Call of Duty, but this one is really fun.
Have you played the multiplayer?
No, I've only played about 4 or 5 hours of. I only downloaded it on Saturday. Today's Monday, and I've been basically going to it when I'm too frustrated with Demon Souls to keep playing.
Yeah, what part on Demon Souls made you say, that's it, I'm playing Call of Duty?
You? What were the parts?
The first one that broke me was the archers in the Tower Knight. Because I didn't realize that you could run up and kill the archers before the fight started. I just started whacking away at the Tower Knight, and I'm doing pretty good, but I'm like, why are these archers? So it took me one time to find the archers, and then I roll up on the archers. The second time through, I roll up on the archers, and I didn't hit them with my heavy attack. I hit them with my light attack, and instead of dying, they just fall down and go into the pit.
Yeah.
So then I got to go while the Tower Knight is trying to fuck me up. These archers are fucking me up, and I gotta kill all the archers. That pissed me off. The armor spider was actually, until I realized to use the bow, was actually a real nightmare for me. I was having a lot of trouble with the armor spider.
Oh, did you kill it with a bow?
Yeah, I killed it with a bow finally.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Huh? I would kill it with melee.
He kept freezing me,
Same.
and I hated it. I was like, God in stasis, follow me.
getting the sticky on you is definitely sucks.
Yeah.
You can block against it or dodge it.
I didn't think to use a bow. I mean, I totally could have, but
I just thought my bow wouldn't do anything.
Yeah,
well, it takes a long time. Not as long as it takes to kill a dragon, but it takes a long time.
Someone needs to send Briar the ultimate bow build. He is officially the bowman of the Demon Souls.
I've been using what classes have been using?
Oh yeah, what class is everybody?
I was the temple knight.
I started as a thief.
What's the Temple Knight give you? Like what?
Basically, you get a magic heal that you can use. So it's only one because your intelligence is low. But actually, I spec'd 2 points into intelligence, and then I had 2 rejuvenation heals. So that was the only magic that I was using.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but I basically went for a quality build, which is strength and dexterity, because there was a couple. I figure if you want big hitting weapons, you're usually going to use stuff like strength and or dexterity, and some of them are both, which is cool.
Yeah.
And what about the thief?
You don't get anything fancy, but a lot of dexterity. You get a lot.
So you can roll around fast.
It allows you to go down the route of using the type of weapons that I like to use, like the katanas and stuff is all dexterity or daggers and things like that. So it worked out really well for the weapon that I ended up using the entire playthrough, which made me very happy.
Nice.
I've been playing as royalty, mainly because I get a crown. And I like that I'm running around in this awful world looking like a prince. Like that's really funny to me. But also the other benefit is I have magic, and I can shoot like flames and shit at people, which especially against like
magic people. I see.
Hell yeah! So like especially against like guys like the mind flayers, it's coming really handy because I don't have to get close to them. So they'll suck my face off because those guys one hit me. I don't know. Maybe you guys have more vitality than I do, but they one hit me. So I just got to stay away from them. But I can just throw magic at them, watch them burn. They scream a little bit, and then I just move the fuck on.
That's funny. Yeah, with those guys, I basically just adopted a blitz method. I had the spear that attacked pretty fast.
Yeah.
So I was like, if they don't see me, I can run up and spear a bitch. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
But if they were looking at me initially, then they had enough time to do their charge up animation. But if they had to turn around, they do this waddle.
They do, yeah.
So you could just like spear them to death.
That was my thing. I was like, I'm going all in or I'm dying. I'm not going to stop attacking. If they end up doing their crap on me, I'm dead. Fine. But I'm going in. Going for it. I really wanted to keep the prisoners alive for a very long time. Until
I killed those as soon as I saw them. I didn't even know that was an option. I just figured I was going to have to kill them eventually. Might as well do it while they can't.
I was going to keep them alive. Yeah, because they were like panicking and stuff. But then I was like, I'm in a tiny hallway and there's like 1,000 prisoners around me. I can't move. And then one of them attacked me. And then I was like, well, now you're all dead.
Yeah. You've all broke the oath. All shall die.
Yep.
That level was amazing too. That level really showcased like the differences that can happen in that game, from like feeling very Bloodborne-ish in this dark prison type of thing to the contrast of the Boletaria or whatever it is. It's really fascinating to see like those differences.
Yeah, I'm really having fun with this.
Yeah,
I loved all the areas. They're so atmospheric, and they give you such different feelings. Like there's somewhere I felt really creeped out and a little bit more on edge than other areas, and I really like that it can make me feel like that.
Yeah.
And right after I finished Demon Souls, I started playing Dark Souls Remastered on the PlayStation 5.
How is that going?
It runs really well. First of all, it's great. It's like I'm just playing Demon Souls again. Because the thing that I loved about going from Demon Souls right into Dark Souls is right at the beginning, there's sparkly twinkly right at the beginning. And I was like, oh, hi. And then like a lot of the enemies will have similar attacks and you find similar weapons, of course. So it was really interesting going from Demon Souls then into Dark Souls. So I would ideally want to play all through all of it.
Nice.
One after the other, because then you get to really experience the world building and you don't forget anything that was happening or the characters. But yeah, it's been going really well. I've been really enjoying it.
Are you planning on playing Dark Souls 2?
I do want to. I never tackled Dark Souls 2.
Me neither.
And I know that it's some people don't like it very much. Other people, it's their favorite. But I think unanimously it's seen as the longest and most difficult.
Right.
Oh, really?
Apparently it's got a boss that has like a very, very, very low completion rate. Like, yeah. Like
might have to buy a recap for that. We'll see.
Like a fraction of a percent actually beat this boss. They usually are like, nope, no thanks.
It has the most customization though as well. That's what I always hear is like it's got the most amount of replayability and customization because of the amount of customization it has.
Why don't people like it?
I don't know. Probably because it's really hard.
Well, it was made by the B team apparently. Or like it wasn't the main A team. So like there apparently is design differences with between like Dark Souls 1 and 3 versus Dark Souls 2. And yeah, actually, I don't know much beyond that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really know.
Yeah,
all I
haven't played it. I played 1 hour, and I did a thing where I ended up going into a harder area than I was supposed to, because naturally, I'm just going to wander and go to some location that's going to kick my ass. Yeah, I didn't play it beyond that.
That's why I want to play it and make up my own opinion for it and see what everyone is talking about, because I don't have that personal experience. I just have what everyone else has said. Yeah, so I would want to play it. I want to play it, and you can play it 60 FPS.
Right?
Yeah,
on PS5.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
I think on PS4 and Xbox as well. I think that remastered version is 60 on everything.
Nice. Yep. I think it's only $10 right now because I looked. I was like, maybe I want to buy this on PS5.
It might be on
really
Game
nice.
Pass too.
It's been really nice playing on PS5. Because it feels the exact same as Demon Souls. It's the same, and you're using the same controller, so it feels great.
Yeah,
not 4K though.
Not 4K.
4K. We should.
Early reviews of Cyberpunk have started to come out.
They are out. Yes.
Cyberpunk.
See, like the general consensus that I keep seeing is this game's pretty amazing. It's full of bugs, and it's not it's not like the different game that you may think it is. It's one of these games, right? It's another one of these games.
That sums them up really well. Whether they're more leaning towards the positive or the negative side, what seems to be the similar strand is that it's an enjoyable game. The city is beautiful. It's got a hell of a lot of bugs, some that are really, really, really bad, and it doesn't do anything to invent the wheel. It just continues on the wheel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, I'm getting different. Like I've only read 2 reviews, and then I've seen other people on Twitter kind of like talking about reviews. I get like really different versions of how long it actually takes, but don't expect it to be like Witcher 3 in length either.
Yeah, I heard some people had cleared it in like 20 hours, but even then they said, because from what I've heard, I've watched a couple reviews, I've also read a couple reviews, the side quests seem to, for a lot of people, be more interesting than the main quest, because the side quest kind of delves more into the characters and the relationships, and it fleshes those out, whereas the main one doesn't seem to do that as much. So maybe if you are playing, just beelining the story, you're going to miss out on a lot of the deeper parts of the game.
Yeah, they specifically said that they wanted the main story finishable for most people. So if you did just want to finish it in like a short amount of time, you could get it done. But the amount of like extra side content is just massive. Like I know some people were clocking in at like 170 hours and still hadn't done all the stuff that they wanted to do. So
I saw someone tweet out a picture of the map, and there was just like a billion icons on it.
Yeah.
That's very witchery, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and also like with Witcher, I felt like a lot of those side quests were some of the most interesting quests in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, the main story was definitely interesting, don't get me wrong. And especially the DLC stuff, but the side quests that you'd stumble into on The Witcher were fantastic. And I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to feel in CyberPunk as well. Be like, oh, it's a crazy side quest. Right?
Yeah, that's what I've heard, is if you really want to delve deep into the story aspect and the characters, then side quests are the way to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oops.
So I'll definitely try and do as many side quests as possible.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to approach the game.
I don't know either, because I'm like, I don't want to get to the point where it's like I can't finish this, or something else pops up, or it's dragging on way too long. I don't want to get to that.
Do you think you're going to get like bored, fatigued, or too many?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It depends how engaging everything else is, right? If the world really is that engaging, which it sounds like it is, then it could be totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
That happens to be if I like go to side quest heavy at the beginning of a game and I lose the plot of the main quest, and I'll be like, I'm just kind of done with this game. I can't be bothered anymore.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll come back to it though. Like, I don't know, The Witcher 3 took me a year to beat, but I enjoyed it tremendously. It's my favorite game of all time. You know, that happens with the Assassin's Creed games to me a lot. It's like I'll do side quests, I get kind of bored with it. I'll drop it for a month and I'll come back to it and get back on board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, I guess if we want to go down the controversy route, is so SkillUp said that he's not going to put up his review yet because CD Projekt Red are not allowing people to use their own footage for the reviews until the day of release.
Yeah, because they don't want a bunch of videos with bugs in them.
I mean, would there be many other reasons? I mean, maybe there's other reasons, but
spoilers, probably.
Yeah, but people were like, it doesn't sit for a lot of people who have had the copy and they've been reviewing it. They said it doesn't sit well with them that they're not allowed to show off their own footage. You know, even if they're just using B-roll footage of going around the city, walking around the city. Because, of course, anytime you are using your own footage, they will heavily say what you can and cannot show. But it is pretty rare for them to say you cannot show any of your own footage at all.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, that sounds like they're scared of seeing videos just filled with bugs.
I mean, that would be bad, right? If people were just only posting bugs that they were seeing.
Yeah, and from what I hear is like there's a ton of them in the game. Some of them are basically a game breaker too. The day one patch hasn't hit yet though for reviewers, so hopefully some of the worst ones will get fixed before we play it or before it's released publicly.
So they said there was a 49 gig patch that went halfway through the review period.
Wow.
And then there's another like 40 something gig patch coming out day one. So from what I've seen, some of the bugs might get fixed, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be going anywhere anytime soon. And I think another negative point was that no one was sent a console review copy. So no one can currently tell you how this game plays on console. And this isn't saying that the game's not going to be great, because even those people who experienced like game-breaking bugs, like ruined the final cutscene for them, are saying they really enjoyed it and they love the world. They think the world is vibrant and wonderful and they love being in the world and it's a beautiful game and it's very good. But yeah, there seems to be bugs and we don't know how it plays on console.
The Witcher 3 was like that too. When The Witcher 3 came out, it was full of bugs. They patched that game consistently and for a long time. It even changed the way combat works, basically. Like they changed the way The Witcher moved in that game because it was so weird.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
The smart bet may be to wait till March to play Cyberpunk.
I was going to say, being a early adopter for Cyberpunk could be a little costly in terms of the experience, but I don't know.
Obviously, this thing's coming in hot. I mean, it's been delayed. You know, they put it as far back in the year as they possibly could.
Mm-hmm.
They delayed after it went gold, which is basically unheard of, right? When something goes gold, you're like, all right, here we go. We're on the road to launch.
But what does that even mean anymore? Going gold, right? It's like
in today's basically.
Are you guys both playing this on PC? I know Tefty is because he bought a new graphics card for it.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
I was hoping to play it on one of the new consoles, but
I was hoping to. Yeah, I would have loved to have played it on the PS5.
That was my original intent. I was like, oh, I'll get the ray tracing / console experience with Cyberpunk. And then I didn't realize that they're delaying that patch, the next gen patch, until sometime next year, early next year.
Yep.
Which, who knows? I mean, that might get delayed too if there's a bunch of bugs that they're trying to fix while the game's out.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense like to focus on PC and current gen console or the PS4 and the Xbox 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fact that it has to support last gen, bit rough, But then again,
it was supposed to come out before these consoles were even.
It basically started development like before they were even launched yet. So it's kind of crazy.
When did The Witcher 3 actually come out? Was that 2015?
2015 for The Witcher 3, yeah.
So they've had 5 years.
This game, no, I think they announced development of this game like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, this has been cooking.
So don't hold your breath for The Witcher 4. What you saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while since they've been talking, and it's finally here. If whether that's good or bad, depending on the condition of it.
Well, I can't wait to play it. I'm sure that I think expectations have been set. They're not particularly surprising. Nothing I've read so far is particularly surprising to me, based on what we've been hearing about this game. I do expect next level storytelling, and that's why I love The Witcher 3 so much, and I'm hoping that's what I find in Cyberpunk. Did I expect no bugs? Of course not. The Witcher 3 still has bugs. Anytime you get a big open world like this too, you're gonna get bugs. Anytime.
Yep.
I've never played an open world game that doesn't have bugs. I'm still hoping that I'm gonna have a great time with this game. We'll have to wait and see. Next week, right? We'll be talking about it next week.
Yeah.
When's it come out? Comes out
the
10th?
Wednesday
for PC. Yeah. On Steam, it's
PC only on Wednesday.
Well, it's 4 p.m. Pacific.
It's happening with a global release. So PC is having a global release. It's all coming out at the same time. And then console is your local time, midnight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't decide if I'm going to play this on it. I guess I'm going to play it on PC.
You want the ray tracing, man? Come on.
Yeah. The problem with ray tracing is you turn it on, you take a look, and oh, damn, that's beautiful. And then you swivel your mouse and see the 24 FPS you're getting, and you're let's turn off ray tracing. And then you never turn it back on for the rest of the
should have bought a 3090, man.
I would if I could. I think with the 3080 and 3090, you get up to 60 FPS in modern games with ray tracing.
In 4K?
No. In 1080p and 1440.
1080p? God damn.
I don't know. Does this game support DLSS? I think it probably does.
I haven't
right?
looked at the specs on it.
If it does, then the frame rate should be better.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you know how my 2080 Ti does, and Tefty can let you know how the 3070 does.
3070
probably about the same, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm looking forward to playing it. It's been hotly anticipated. I'm expecting bugs. I'm expecting. I hope I don't get any game-breaking bugs where I'd have to restart a save. That would suck.
Where I'm like, what's that guy doing? That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, someone's got their face inverted. Huh, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, but missing like a final cutscene, that sucks.
Yeah, that would suck. You know, like Fallout, those type of games when they first launch usually they can have some serious game-breaking bugs in their scripting and all that. I hope that doesn't happen. That would suck.
This has been described as Bethesda level bugs.
Ouch. That is those are harsh words, man. I am looking forward to it though. Anyway, like, what are you gonna do? I mean, I've been looking forward to this game since they started talking about it years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
same. By the way, apparently it was like 2012, 2013 when they first announced and started showing stuff about it. So, for anybody looking for specificity about dates,
Chad says one reviewer had to restart the game every 30 to 45 minutes.
Yep, I did watch that from Layman Gaming. He said he had to restart it all the time.
Yeah, without the day one patch, it's always tough to tell, because if they don't patch something that's breaking the game every 30 minutes, then yikes, right? But usually those pre-day one patch versions of the games have a lot of issues that you kind of have to
Ultimately,
deal with.
We're just going to have to play it and see how it goes on with the day one. We'll see how it goes. Maybe
it would have been nice if all the early reviews were like, holy shit, you guys are not going to believe what I just played. It's unfortunate that it's getting kind of this reception from the day one guys. Yeah, and that may be even more positive. Like a lot of times you see like before day one reviews be more positive than after day one reviews because these are the guys that got the code early for whatever reason. Like that may be because they have been known to be friendly to the developers in the past. Yeah. So we'll see. I wouldn't say Skill Up is one of those people though.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously red flags for sure, especially with the whole like you can't show your footage and there's no console codes to show that stuff. Like, it's a bit of a yikes.
Yeah,
but it is.
What you doing up there?
Yeah,
you guys want to go in Nintendo for a minute?
Sure, let's do it.
Sure.
So Nintendo canceled a Splatoon stream.
Oh, I saw this
after the teams had named themselves after like in support of Melee players who last month had gotten canceled, basically. So here's what happened. Like a month ago, Nintendo sent a cease and desist order to a company that was trying to put on a Smash Brothers Melee tournament. The reason they did that was because they were using this like third-party workaround to enable matchmaking over over the internet. Obviously, you can't have in-person tournaments right now. So they were doing this like this weird workaround, and Nintendo had a problem with that. They stepped in. They said, cease and desist. You can't do this. So fast forward to the live stream that was supposed to happen, and about half of the teams that were supposed to be in the Splatoon tournament renamed their teams to Free Melee 227, Melee Nation, stuff like that, in support of the Smash Brothers players, who weren't able to be in their tournament because of the cease and desist letter. So Nintendo canceled the live stream because of that.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah. So like all of these, obviously Nintendo, the most litigious video game company in the history of video games, is right. I mean, they're technically correct. Like they own these IPs. They're allowed to do with them what they want. But still, man,
they're technically correct all the time they do this stuff, right? Like with asking for X amount percentage of content creators when they make Nintendo videos. Like technically you're correct. You made those games, they're yours. We get it. But are you morally correct?
Yeah.
Are you
it's the
being
anti-consumer.
community? Yes.
You know, it's not very consumer focused. It's more like they're being highly protective of their IP. You know, like old copyright law type of feel, where they're like, well, we have to do this because it's the spirit of the law.
Yeah, it's nice to see the Splatoon community supporting the Smash community, though. That was great.
This has always been the two faces of Nintendo. Like going back to the 90s, you know, like and they were in front of Congress, like beating on Sega for having, Mortal Kombat with blood on their system while they were being, you know, they've always been litigious. They've always been a little bit holier than thou, but they've also, on the other side, always made amazing video games. You know, like
they back it up with content that's great.
Yeah, it's like the creative side of Nintendo is so wonderful, but the business side of Nintendo is so nasty. Like they're so nasty, and they've always been like this. They've always had these like just brutal lawyers that will go after anybody for the smallest infraction. They protect their IP like harder than Disney does, and Disney goes hard.
Oh yeah, Disney goes hard.
It's a funny thing with Nintendo. It's hard. It's hard to love that company, but it's hard to hate them too.
Yeah.
True.
But man, Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, I'm playing it.
Yeah.
The Pro Switch, I'm buying it.
Have you guys seen any reviews of God damn, I keep calling it Heroes and Monsters, but it's not called that anymore.
Oh, the Fenyx Rising?
Fenyx Rising. Yeah, people are loving that game.
People are loving it. It's gotten like pretty unanimously good reviews. It's a Ubisoft open world game that doesn't feel like an Ubisoft open world game.
Yeah, it's Breath of the Wild by Ubisoft.
Okay. What are you doing? Like
you do Breath of the Wild stuff. It's an RPG.
You cook things? You break weapons?
Yeah, you're doing. Yeah. It's got dungeons to explore. Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews on that. I've heard some people think it's hilarious and some people think it's terrible.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't take itself too seriously, is what I've heard. Is that it's very like tongue in cheek, very dad jokey, very cringe kind of jokes, but it doesn't take itself seriously. I can kind of always enjoy a game that doesn't take itself that seriously.
Yeah.
Borderlands 3 says, I didn't take myself seriously.
No, you kind of do. Those twins took themselves very seriously.
Yeah, they were definitely taking themselves seriously.
I want to play this game. I don't know how I'm going to fit it in. It just seems like there's too many games to play right now. But it looks fun. Like it's got that really cute art style that kind of Breath of the Wild has. It's a big open world. They're really, it's the first game no, it's not the first game. It's a game that is really taking inspiration from Breath of the Wild, but with, Ubisoft's budget, it's a modern generation game. It's not inhibited by being on, a 6-year-old mobile phone.
Is this is this a free to play game or is it like a
No, it's a real game.
Oh, it's a real game. No, it's an actual legit game, not this free to play crap.
Yeah, it's available on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox. I think it's on PC as well. We've talked about it a bunch of times on this show.
It's the name change, man.
Yeah.
The name change, I think, did hurt it.
Yeah.
And they went from like a generic name to another generic name.
Yep.
Yeah. I've seen a little bit of gameplay, a little bit. And I was like, oh, looks interesting. It kind of looked like, what's the term? I don't know. It had a little bit of a free-to-play vibe to me initially.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, I don't know, maybe. But, yeah, might have to check
Everyone
it out.
seems to be loving it.
Yeah, it's getting really good reviews. After, like, very little was said about it coming out. Like, everybody was dismissing this thing, another Ubisoft open world game. But it seems to be a little different and, definitely taking a inspiration from Breath of the Wild, which is a fantastic game in a lot of ways.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know if I can play it. Like, how am I going to fit it in?
Well, you got CyberPunk this week, and you don't know. CyberPunk is a big question mark right now with the reviews and whether or not you're actually going to be able to play it. Are you going to get a game-breaking bug?
Yeah.
What if I have to restart my game every 30 minutes?
I'm not doing that. Like that's not going to be acceptable to me. I will wait. Like I'll wait.
Yeah. What if your PC just straight up says, you know what? It ain't happening. You get a blank screen.
Then I'll just have to go buy another PC. That's the Dark Souls of 2020 right there, is trying to get parts for a new PC.
Yeah.
True. There's also like a question mark on how long a playthrough could take you. So you could be planning, when, normally you're like, a game's going to take me about this amount of time, which leads me into this. Hence why a lot of us played Demon Souls now, because we knew it would be done before CyberPunk. But with CyberPunk, it's like, it could take you 20, 30, 170, 200. Who knows?
Yeah.
No idea. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Plus different,
we'll have to see,
dialogue paths and campaign options, and I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Possibilities. It might be great, might be mediocre, might be bad. Don't know.
Who knows? Could be long, could be short.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
It's so up in the air right now. I just don't know. I'm confused. I'm conflicted.
What a weird game, right? It's been in the works for so long. It's been delayed so many times, and now it's like all over the place. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most hyped up game I've ever seen. I cannot remember another game that's gotten this amount of hype across the board. Like, it doesn't matter if it's on
Destiny
from PC
2.
gamers. I think it's way more hype than Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Like maybe I can't think of another one.
Because even like Elden Ring, right? Elden Ring, people are excited, but I feel like the Souls community is much more niche than just like the people who like playing RPGs.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's smaller. And they put Keanu Reeves in there.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There's another hype aspect to it. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, that adds a 13% sexy quotient.
What if his character model glitches and it's Bizarro Keanu?
Just gets more sexy. Any Keanu is sexy Keanu. Even glitchy Keanu.
True.
Yep. Well, is that SideQuest?
I think so.
We did it.
SideQuest complete.
Next week, I expect everyone to have fully completed SideQuest. It's Cyberpunk.
SideQuest, all the SideQuest.
Cyberpunk, the SideQuest.
I don't think I'm going to
full
do that.
Playthrough.
I will
200 hours.
At least one SideQuest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I would have completed character creation by then.
Maybe, yeah. We'll see.
I will either have played it or not played it.
Depending on if it will run.
Yes.
Right?
That's correct. Hopefully it at least runs, man. Jesus.
I'm sure it will,
I'm sure it will.
Yeah. I feel like we're at this point in time in game development where we're beyond the ones where like 50% of the people just can't run the game at all for like 5 days,
That used to be the way PC gaming was. Like
exactly.
Back in like the MS-DOS Windows 95 days, like sometimes you'd buy a game and you just couldn't play it. Like nope. You could try. You could try reconfiguring your memory and typing all sorts of weird shit into your computer that you didn't really understand, but you were doing it anyway. It's just not going to happen. Like you just don't have the right computer for this game.
Well, that is SideQuest episode number 74. Thank you very much for watching and hanging out. Shout out to our Patreon members for supporting the shows here on DCP, and shout out to our Twitch subs as well for live supporting while we talk about the video games. Watts, where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts. We also have the full playthrough of Demon Souls on my second YouTube channel, which is Watts Plays. So if you want to catch up, it's easier to do than on Twitch because Twitch keeps restarting you from the beginning of the video.
Ugh.
It's very difficult.
That is awful.
It is awful. I keep trying to catch up on Fran's playthrough, and I'm like, son of a bitch, it's at the beginning. He did a 9-hour stream. I don't know where I was.
Also, you probably want to delete your VODs from Twitch anyway, because you're likely to get a copyright strike from them.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe Sword Clank #4 is a DMCA-able sound.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's a throwback. That's a throwback to when Nintendo was DMCAing over like coin noises. Bling.
I got muted video for having the Zelda 2 theme playing while I was playing Zelda 2.
Classic.
Yep.
Yeah. Classic Nintendo. I'm Brian Rabbit. You can find me doing internet stuff and goofing around. Today, I released a video on my YouTube channel about speculation on what a PlayStation 5 Pro or Elite controller could be. Leather, anybody? How about leather controller?
Sounds sweaty.
How about some luxury materials in your luxury controller?
Like titanium or something?
Ooh, now you're talking.
Now
Like
you
carbon
could throw
fiber?
it.
Carbon
Throw it
fiber.
and never break.
Yes.
Like a batarang.
That would be amazing.
The anti-rager controller is what we needed.
Like space age materials that are indestructible.
You might break your wall though. If you throw it
You might break your house if you chuck this controller.
Maybe you should get a pro wall.
Yeah. Upgrade your wall with space age materials, bruh.
Yeah.
I am Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter and catch my streams at twitch.tv/Tefty Teft. I will be deep into CyberPunk this week if my system runs it. Also looking forward to the Destiny patch. Playing 60 FPS Destiny on PS5. Looking forward to that.
Tomorrow.
That's tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, man. I've been kind of waiting for this. Like, I really want to play some Destiny at 60 FPS and 120 FPS on a console. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. So yeah, that's tomorrow. All right. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. Eric's will return, assuming he is alive from all the cyberpunking that he'll be doing. Right?
No, let's be honest. I've seen pictures of him working out, and I ain't trying to stop him. He can do what he wants.
There you go. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.